you don't understand privacy anymore. Maybe we used to, but you and I today don't. People used to connect privacy with freedom. They knew that when you had privacy, your decisions were your own. Your decisions were less likely to be influenced by people who know your secrets and desires and use them against you. The people before us learned that when privacy was given away, anyone could use those pieces of their personality to persuade them to buy almost anything. Privacy was freedom. Privacy is freedom. Freedom to make up your own mind, and freedom to trust in those decisions. Now, that's a fairly intense intro for a book review, but that shouldn't be news to you, and it's definitely not even the craziest thing about Mindmasters. If you weren't already thinking about leaving most social media, this may be the logic bomb that finally pulls you back over the edge. The author pleads a potent case that our data is the window to our psychology, and we create a lot of data. Each one of us generates almost 6 gigabytes of data each hour. And while a single piece of our data outside of context isn't very valuable, when it's combined with multiple other sources, and there are multiple other sources, it becomes very easy to draw a vivid portrait of exactly who you and I are. In fact, getting to know you is as simple as harvesting a few of your Facebook likes. For example, 10 Facebook likes gives enough information for a system to know and predict you better than a work colleague. 60 likes knows you as good as friends. 120 likes gets to know you better than a family member. And 300 likes gets to know you and predict your behaviors and understand your psyche better than your spouse. How many things have you liked on Facebook and Instagram lately, and what do those things say about you? But it's not just Facebook. We leave digital footprints across all kinds of data capture methods. Social media, of course, and Google searches, and driving and walking searches, transaction data from plastic cards and PayPal and Venmo. Just your phone alone has GPS sensors, microphones, light sensors, and a gyroscope to detect how much you pick it up and when you're using it, or more importantly, when you're not. The outside world has cameras and NFC points and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth nodes. In short, you can and you will be tracked. All of that data enables data scientists to create predictive models that can identify any type of person they're interested in targeting, and when they've identified that person, getting their attention again and again is so easy. These data scientists are essentially hacking the game and finding a way to connect with you in a way that you don't even realize. Because it's not just the things that you like that they're tracking. Using your digital footprints, they can detect both who you are, but also your personality and emotional states, and those are powerful combos. For example, imagine a typically extroverted woman that's been home for a few days and relentlessly streamed breakup music. That sounds like a pretty compelling signal to dating apps and chocolate merchants that want to leverage her emotional state. Or what about an introverted boy whose behavior shifted from spending time at the gym practices and instead switched to watching YouTube videos every night about how to kick girls? The apparent distance from friends and dejection from love interests creates a very malleable psyche that's exploited by the worst kinds of groups. Now, the book does an excellent job of bringing all of this to life for the reader by exploring studies and practical applications of the work that the author was directly involved in. And like any technology, there are amazing opportunities to use these learnings for good. But as always, there's money to be made for those who are willing to use it for evil, or at least for exploitation and profit and gain. The most important takeaway, and if you're still watching, you win, because this is the info you can use to change your life. We need to recognize that we've allowed our expectations of privacy to erode without even realizing it. Our natural human tendency to share personal information with our tribes was necessary for survival. And this is where it gets good. The sharing of that information was always reciprocated. If you grew up in a small town like the author or I grew up in Moravia, Iowa, population 700 people. If you grow up in those small towns, you consciously accept that others know you, know what kind of person you are, and what you've been up to. But for the most part, you knew that about them too. And that reciprocation is what makes giving up privacy worth it. because you start to understand the world around you better. And understanding the world around you better makes you more comfortable because you're able to understand why things happen and more accurately predict what might happen in the future. That creates trust and comfort that's missing from our lives today. Instead, today, what we share with the world, to the broligarchs of Silicon Valley, is not reciprocal. Today, the cultivation of our sharing tendencies has been manipulative, extractive, and socially corrosive. Anyway, if you want to understand more deeply how this data is collected, how it's used to identify and manipulate you, and what you can do to prevent it personally and collectively, you should check out New York Times bestseller Mindmasters by Sandra Matz. I highly recommend. Thanks for watching.